thegearnetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
This is AC Slade, and you're listening to the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robby Vegas.
What's up, rock soldiers, and thank you for listening to another episode of the All Bets Are Off podcast. I'm your host, Robby Vegas, and today I'm bringing you for the second time on the show, Raven Black. So we got Raven coming back on to talk about her new book, the new Raven Black album, and a whole bunch of other things, so we're going to have some fun with that. And before I get going today, I do want you to know that today's episode is presented by Sweat Connected. Sweat Connected is a transformative way to work out. Sweat Connected has a mission to help you feel your best. Each expert instructor brings their signature method directly to you, wherever you are in the world via Zoom. When you take a Sweat Connected class, you're able to interact with your instructor and the other participants in the class just like you would in a live studio experience. Whether you've been a group fitness participant for years or you're newer, you'll feel at home with Sweat Connected. So Sweat Connected is exclusively offering our listeners 50% off their first class by going to sweatconnected.com and using the code POD. That's code POD at sweatconnected.com for 50% off your first class. Sweat Connected for all levels, all ages, all sizes, and all humans. So before we roll into this interview, I want to play you a new track from the new Raven Black album right now, and then we'll get Raven on the phone. So this is Hear Me Cry.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
So Raven, first thing I want to do is just thank you for being here for your second time. Truly appreciate that.
Awesome. It's good to be back.
So I kind of want to jump right into it because I'm excited to ask you about your book. You have to tell me about this.
Well, my book is an autobiography, and it's not your typical autobiography where it talks about my entire life. You know, I purposely created a very unique chapter, which kind of coincides with each of my ages. So the first chapter is chapter 7. So I skip right into, dive right into it. And basically, it covers all the ages and chapters of my life that were major turning points in my life that actually changed me, whether it was physical, emotional, mental, or all of the above. So it's just kind of my most private, life-changing moments, and those ages where, what happened to me that really, really altered everything. And it was really just all about giving people insight to the private me that, most people never reveal about themselves, especially being in the public eye, But I really wanted my fans to get to know me and, where does these lyrics come from? Where does the music come from? Where does my inspiration come from? And it's a lot of things I've experienced in my life. And then, so now it's funny because I've spoken to a few of our fans who've kind of given me their feedback and said, I listened to your album, The Key, and even some of your other albums after reading your book. And I was like, oh my God, this song is about that time in her life. And so that was really neat. And I knew that would happen because I've always known what my songs are about, but now they actually know what my songs are truly about lyrically. So, and hopefully in the end, I kind of wrote a thank you to all the, people in my life and to the fans about, people assume, people's lives are perfect, or, oh, she must have, come from money or connections or something like that. And, I really wanted to inspire people that, no, I'm just like everyone else. I'm just a girl and had a dream, and I've been through the same shit as everyone else. I have depression, anxiety, and you can still recover and heal from those horrible things that you experience in your life throughout your life, and still be able to go for it, go after your dreams and still try to do the best that you can to make yourself happy.
So how long have you actually been working on the book?
I'm trying to remember. I think I started it in 2012 or 2013, but, I just periodically wrote here and there and, everywhere as I was inspired to sit down and write, So I don't actually have timelines, but I did spend 2 to 3 weeks on the last 2 or 3 chapters, in the last 4 months.
Okay.
I mean, I spent time finishing it, but I hadn't touched it since probably 2017.
So was that something that you planned on releasing this year, or did it just kind of happen that way because of the quarantine?
No, I planned on writing the book for my 50th birthday, no matter what I was doing in life. And I sought out to do this when I was 25 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a bucket list item of mine to write a book about my life one day when I'm 50. Like, what have I done? What have I learned by the time I was age 50? And I turned 50 this year.
Very cool.
But it had nothing to do with anything in life other than my age.
Do you find, or have you found yet, that you've made new fans because of the book? Like maybe people who didn't know Raven Black, but they do now?
I haven't felt that change at all. I mean, it's available to the public, but I didn't promote or push it out for sale to anyone but my fan base.
Okay.
So it was really written for myself, but my fans had access to it, and I haven't distributed it to the public. So I'm sure there's people who have purchased it that are not part of the rejects, but I do get a lot of messages of, oh my God, I just read your book. Oh my God, my mom wanted to read your book and she was like, it was amazing. I've gotten feedback where it's like, wow, I truly, love your band, but now after reading your book, I love you even more. So things like that have come up. I have a lot of fans that, have been very close to me and become friends over the years. Fans that have become friends because I've gotten to know them so well as people. But they thought they knew a lot about me, and after reading the book, they said, wow, you dropped bombshells. Like I had no idea that you went through this or that. And I said, of course not. It's an extremely private thing in my life. But, I feel that they've gotten to have more insight of me as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of my sense of it. Like, well, I knew that you've been through a troubled past, but wow, like the things that I can't even imagine, like what you went through. And now they want more, they want more. They're like, well, I want to know more detail about that time in your life. And I said, oh, well, that's another book. I said, if I wrote details about my life every year, the book would be 2,000 pages long. So I've done a lot more than that, but I just kind of I had to highlight certain parts of my life because there's not enough, it'd be like a Bible or a dictionary, the size of it.
Yeah, right.
The amount of things that I've been through in detail. There's too much to mention, and it would just be too convoluted. So I made a point to do that. But for instance, I'll give you an example. I talked about my drug addiction, in my autobiography. And so I'm going to write another book about my drug addiction, specifically about that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And makes it an easier read, too. I think when it's not too long or not too detailed. Now my next book about my addiction phase and what hallucinations and what my days were like and how did I live? What is a drug addict's life like in a day of, in my life, what I experienced, good example is, peeing into a bucket with a towel in it when you're hiding, and you can't go to the restroom.
Right. So
and client, things like that. That's pretty, intense for some people.
Yeah. Now, was that always the plan, though, is to write a second book based on those things, or is this a new idea because the fans are bringing you?
Correct. So one, there's a couple of passions I have in my life. Writing is obviously number one, whether it be songs, poems, stories, anything. I love writing and reading, but, I had always planned to retire being a writer.
Oh, okay.
So music, obviously writing music, writing songs, but eventually, you get to a certain point where you stop touring and you stop doing that kind of stuff. So I had always planned on writing, but just writing is a huge passion of mine, and I want to help people through writing. And I think it's a quiet way of helping people who may not be as extroverted or open about their own, mental illness or their own darkness and stuff like that, their private life. I'm hoping to write next year, especially if touring still doesn't continue and I have all this time at home. I'm going to write a children's book series called Penelope. And it's about me being a little girl. And a lot of the things I went through childhood that I think I don't know of any books out there to, the 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old girls or boys that are experiencing cutting or suicide or depression or, schizophrenia, bullying. Like, I don't think there's books really that talk about that candidly.
Right.
There's clinical stuff, there's self-help stuff, there's that kind of stuff, case studies, but there's nothing like story form, fictionalized, like a very dark Disney. You've got Mulan, but there's not that dark one, that Penelope who cuts every day and hides it and has a whole little ritual over it, and I think that really needs to be revealed, because had I had those books when I was that age, that might have helped me understand me a little bit more,
Did you always have a plan
I'm going to try to do
to help people like this? Because you're very passionate about getting the word out there about mental illness and things like that.
I have, because of all that I've been through. I just have always been very open about who I am, and as far as like helping people, I know what you're feeling. I've been through that. You can talk to me about it, because that helped me. But growing up, I didn't have that. I didn't have that sense and awareness until later. So once I figured that out, I was like, oh my God, this is how you help people. You help people by helping yourself, and helping yourself helps other people. And it's because it's common ground. There's no status in that. It's just human connection. You know what I mean? Like, I'm no better than you. Yeah, you think, countless people talk to me now on privately in Messenger and stuff. Like, I love writing and I'm a singer, but I have so much insecurity, and, I've always wanted to do this, but, I don't have money. I don't have this. I don't have that. I'm just, really insecure. And I go, if you love singing, sing. I encourage them and give them confidence, I guess, to try it,
That's huge.
And I try to inspire people like, no, I'm no different than you. When I started this band, I didn't have money. I didn't have all those things. But I did. I quit my job. I made a decision. This is what I want to do. And I told them, you just got to make a list and take each step one at a time. And, don't think about how long it's going to take. Just do it, and do it from your heart. Do it with all you got. Don't buy that dress or that purse or those shoes. You don't need it, because it doesn't apply to you doing music. You have to change everything to go for what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we move on to the new album, where can we buy the book?
The book is on my own personal store, because it's not part of the band, but it's bit.ly, bit.ly/Raven Black Dollhouse.
Got it. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, and we have it in digital and audio where I read it. It's an MP3, and then the soft cover book.
Oh, wow. All right. Awesome. Last time you were here on the show, we were talking about the new album, but it wasn't out yet. So fill us in. How's the album doing? I see all your posts, so I know that the fans are really loving it.
The album did amazing, and we just hit over 1.5 million streams on Spotify.
Wow.
Just for the key. And that was released October 2nd. So that's pretty awesome. And then metal charts on metal radio. We've been number 33 and 34 for the last 6 weeks in a row since the release.
Oh, wow.
So it's, we're just like, wow. We didn't hit Billboard. We had a Billboard agent, and, with the record sales, and what happened this year is he had said, well, you guys did pre-orders and we sold, over 1,000 copies in the first week, because they all count towards that. But they said because of COVID, Billboard changed their algorithms on how they chart you now. They include streaming and YouTube and all these other different things now. So, of course, that changed our charting status. If it was strictly on record sales, we would have charted our first week.
Oh, wow.
So I'm pretty bummed about that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the industry looks at that, and that it kind of puts us on the map in the rock charts, even though, because they don't have a metal category for Billboard. And it's very difficult because, you're talking about me going against like Billie Eilish or, pop rock, and there's such a significant gap between a metal artist versus a pop artist or a pop rock artist.
Right.
On a gigantic label like Sony or Warner Brothers. So it's really not fair, but, I kind of got over it about that. But we tried our best to at least, get our name in the Billboard or Billboard Top 200 or anything like that. But since they've changed the algorithms for COVID, we just didn't chart. Not that I'm aware of anyway. So, we don't really, we care, but we don't care. We care because we want the industry to take us as a serious band.
Right.
And obviously to represent the metal genre. A do-it-yourself band that Billboard charts would have a huge statement for the metal genre and the metal community. So that's why we really wanted that. But not for our own, limelight or anything like that. We don't care about that. We care most about our fans and them enjoying what we write. So, but that, and with that said, the fans love it, and we did a tribute song to them, and now we have a tribute T-shirt for them for 2020. 2020, The Rejects. We have a T-shirt amplifying the song "We Are the Rejects," and we posted all their names on the actual T-shirt design of all the official fan club members on the T-shirt. So it was kind of like a tribute thing to 2020 to them for supporting us all year.
I saw that, and I think that's amazing. And one of the things I wanted to say is that your popularity seems to be growing even without touring because you're so involved during this quarantine and this pandemic. You're always doing new merch, new things, and you're so interactive with your fans. And it just seemed like it just came naturally to you to do that.
Yeah, because I treat them as people. To me, it's like I keep saying it over and over, and as we keep going here, it's really hard for me to call them my fans. I don't think of celebrity stuff. I just think of them as these are people who support me, and they're people. I want to know who they are. I want to know what they do in life. I want to know why they like our music. I want to know what's their favorite song. I want to enjoy the music with them. And merch, there's at least 5 or 6 things I can think of right now at the top of my head. Merch things that weren't planned. I'm the person that designs them. So, but I took, for Friday the 13th, I did a fun live feed on Facebook, and I did my makeup like Jason's mask. And, I incorporated mine, so it was like Raven Jason for fun. It was just for fun. And, I enjoy doing that stuff. It gives me something to do in this crazy world right now and not think about the ugliness, and it gives them something to look forward to and have fun. And of course, we all love Jason, so it's Friday the 13th. So, it was just kind of a themed, fun thing to do. And then next thing you know, I took a picture of myself just for my own benefit to remember my makeup for my own keepsake.
Yeah.
And I posted it and said, happy Friday the 13th. Well, they're like, please make this a T-shirt. And I'm like, nope, it's not a T-shirt. It was just for fun. And then they're like, but can you please make it a T-shirt? And then somebody else is like, can you make it a poster? And I'm like, why not? So I made it, redid the design and put it on a T-shirt and a poster. And next thing you know, people are buying it. So that happens a lot with our fans because they have all these wonderful ideas of what they would like to see, or buy in their collection or want to wear. So, I listen to them. You give your people what they want, and I care about that stuff. Plus, it's fun. It's just absolutely fun. Same thing happened with Halloween. We're a big Halloween band. We love Halloween. Halloween's like every day for us.
Yeah, right.
But Muppet, my drummer, who's also my husband, he was teasing me And I was like, are you going to dress up for Halloween when I do the live feed? And he was like, I should just dress up as you. And he had his hair, his dreads, in 2 pigtails. and he started to make fun of me and mimic me. And he goes, yeah, I'll just get on your live feed and be like, hi, everyone. Hi, Jason. Hi, Thomas. And he was mimicking me from all my prior live feeds. And I was like, you're ridiculous. And I go, oh my God, but that is so funny. They'll love it. You need to do this. And he was like, well, I was just making fun of you. I'm like, no, you please do it. Please dress up as me with your pigtails and your dreads and do exactly what you just did to me, because it's hilarious. And he goes, I don't know, no. And I finally convinced him to do it. So the night of Halloween when we did the live feed, he was me at the very beginning, so nobody knew it was coming. And he was dressed in my dress from tour that they all recognize, It was one of those stretchy type of dresses, so I squeezed it on him. And I did his makeup like mine, and he went, hi, everybody, happy Halloween. And it was awesome. So, of course, I took pictures of it, again, for keepsake. And everybody's like, oh, my God, we need a T-shirt and a poster of him dressed as you, and called him Muppet Raven. So that became a merch item.
Oh, that's awesome. I was going to say, whose idea was it to do the line of Christmas merchandise?
Oh, that's me. That's definitely, holiday season, Halloween through Christmas, any holiday. I try to be as festive and fun as possible. But yeah, the Christmas merch line was, what do you like to collect during Christmas? You want a stocking, an ornament, you want ugly sweaters. Like, what do we buy every Christmas, right? Mm-hmm. To make it fun and feel like Christmas. So I was like, well, we're going to make it a dark metal Christmas, Raven Black style. And so I was like, you know what? I need a black Christmas stocking. I just need one. I want a black Christmas stocking to go with my black Christmas tree. And I'm like, and I think a lot of people would enjoy this. So it took me about 3 months to find the right vendor who can make the custom stocking. And so I had ordered it, and it took about, 4 or 5 weeks for them to make them all. And so, I was limited to 100 of them. So I did this mystery thing. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what else I'm going to throw into this, but let's just call it a mystery. And it started with Halloween. I called it the Halloween mystery box. So, everything Halloween themed. And I was like, this will be fun because you don't know what's in it, and there's going to be a few staple items that everyone receives, but then I'll put in a bunch of other things that we have that are Halloween themed. So, like, I even bought one of those, novelty toys, gigantic bulk package of little spiders and eyeballs and, fingers and, like it had a bunch of stuff like toys for kids. And I was like, it's a treasure chest of Halloween paraphernalia. I'm like, this is awesome. Vampire teeth, plastic, I had there were worms and like caterpillars and roaches, and I would throw all of the stuff in their box just to have it feel like Halloween. Why can't adults have a Halloween treat box? Why not?
Yeah, right.
So that sold out in 2 days, and we only had 100, and we actually made a Muppet, and I sat here making them all, putting them all together, and then we shipped them out. But that went so well. I was like, well, for Christmas I was just going to have merch, but I have the stocking that's coming. I'm like, let me do a mystery stocking and put a bunch of crazy stuff inside the stocking.
That's great.
How fun is that? Yeah, so, and then the kicker on all of this is that I had not originally planned it, but the Halloween mystery box, you've heard of my Baby Raven, right? My little Baby Raven doll?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Baby Raven, I usually throw it out at concerts, and that gives the person who catches it gets to receive lifetime VIP whenever it's available. Okay. So we're on tour and we have VIP available. They get that to come to that for free and meet the band and hang out on our bus. So that Baby Raven's in a very extremely rare and priceless thing that everybody knows, and you can't buy it. I only throw her out at the end of our set.
Right.
During a show. So I was like, you know what? I have a bunch of them because I was going to do it for the In This Moment tour, and now they're all sitting in a box. So I think I'm going to give up one, and it'll be like Willy Wonka's golden ticket, and I happen to have a white key from the key. I have this resin, 3D print white key. So I was like, well, I'm going to have her hold it. I'm going to tie it with a ribbon from my tour ribbon from my hair from Static X's tour. I wrote on it, and I tied the key to her lap,
Mm-hmm.
So she's holding it. And then I had Muppet hide it in one of the mystery boxes. And we didn't know who was going to end up getting it. So it's fun for them, and it's fun for us, because we're like, who ended up getting it? But yeah, so that became a whole thing. So now we're doing the same thing for the stocking. So
cool.
one lucky person's going to receive a baby raven.
That's excellent.
But it's all about fun, and I really wanted people to, it's the whole dark metal carnival. The whole carnival concept is a place that you can go to escape the ugly realities out there and just have fun in a community where everybody's supportive, non-judgmental. Nobody talks politics, nobody talks religion, everybody just is like here about metal music, metal fun, just fun community, what it should be like.
Yeah,
like when you go to a carnival, you expect the unexpected, and there's rides and fun and music and cotton candy and games and a show, and that's really what we wanted to create. It just happens to be a dark metal carnival, though, and so that's kind of what we've stuck to for the last 4 years, and it's become its own thing, its own worlds,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's just we're trying to have fun in the world of ugliness, and every chance I get to create that, I'm going to try to do that. Well, that's my mission.
Speaking of the tour, the In This Moment tour, do you know if that's still a thing that's set to happen eventually when the pandemic is over?
It's definitely on. I think it's a Live Nation concert tour, so I think what they're just waiting for vaccines and, a safer time when venues are able to be open. Mm-hmm. It's safe to travel, I'm sure, for all the bands, and COVID is, kind of somewhat under control. And I'm hearing rumors, even on news, whether it's fake or not, I don't know, but something as early as December where they're going to put out vaccines.
Yeah, I've actually heard that too. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So, hopefully by end of next year, mid next year, middle of next year, or fall or something, we'll be safe again to tour. And as soon as it's safe, I'm pretty sure they'll re-announce the tour.
Okay, awesome. And then we can do a live podcast.
That would be awesome.
So, back to the record, though, that just came out. Do you have a personal favorite track on that record?
It's always a cross between Hear Me Cry and 5 Feet Underground.
Why?
Both of those are super, super, super personal to me. I would... I didn't even think of this before, but one is like the past and one is the present. The past was, my suicidal attempt, and, just being in that mind frame, and it was from my past, and what saved me was asking for help. So at the end of the video, I don't know if you've seen it, but at the end of the video, I have the anti-suicide hotline on there.
Yes.
But it's all about just having that struggle mentally of wanting to end your life, and then you've got that fight in you where you're like, no, I can do this. I want to live. And it's that psychosis that you go through, and when you are feeling that way. So that whole song is very personal to me because that's how I felt for many, many years. And each time I always sought help. So that's a very profound message in that song. And 5 Feet Underground, on the other hand, is whimsical, quirky, weird. I kind of semi-rap in that. The doll gets a little crazy, but that's a big middle finger to all the fake people that I come across in my life.
Gotcha.
So that's like a much stronger like a stronger stance of who I am today, which is like, I'm going to be my weirdo self, and, I'm good with it. And if you're not, see my middle finger? Bye. So it's a very different from when I was growing up, where I needed people's approval. I needed the acceptance. I needed to feel like I fit in. And now it's like, I don't fit in, but you know what? I do, because I fit in with all the other people who don't fit in. And we're just happy together now.
Right, yeah.
So it's that coming of, it's like an awakening, an embracing who you really are. And I'm trying to spread that. I'm trying to spread that love. Like, love yourself for exactly who you're. Weirdo, you're quirky, be proud of it, be proud of who you are, love yourself, and just do you, forget all the other fake people who don't, at the end of the day, they don't matter.
Right, absolutely. So do you find yourself evolving more with the band as, like, songwriters from where you guys started, or?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. We've each grown in our own, skill, our own crafting. It's funny because we've grown as individuals, and we also have grown as a band. Just how we write together, how we talk about things, how, the band's really, really starting to understand my vision. Because, I started with this vision with my husband when we started the band.
Right.
And then, you can tell somebody your vision, you can describe it, you can, give examples, but to actually do it together, you learn as you go. But I think somewhere in the last year, especially last year with all the touring we did, it somewhere clicked with everyone, like, this is who we are, and I think that attributes to how great this album is, because when we went in to write this and finish this album and record it, we unlike the first two albums where we were very nervous about everything and unsure, and we still feel that way to some degree, because every album you want it to be good.
Right.
You have that pressure, that inner pressure, but we looked at each other like, you know what? It's weird. And we're like, yeah. And we're like, fuck it. We love it. Okay. Yeah. Let's just do what we love. Because you always go into that room and you're like, okay, we need a radio song. We need a da-da song. We need, and you do all these little rules and parameters for yourself to try to build a good album. But at the end of the day, we were just all like, fuck it. Let's just do what we love. You know what I mean? And that's, I feel, the moment that I saw the band sitting there going, I think we get it now.
Right.
There's no rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the carnival, there's no rules. We just do what we love, and that's good enough.
And it shows through, and on the
It's been
record.
successful.
Yeah.
Correct.
What's coming next for you guys now, currently?
Well, we released our comic book, our second issue of the comic book this year, too.
Oh, okay.
Along with the album. The comic book?
Yes. I forgot about that. That's right. So
the comic book, we came across The Darkness, which was always planned to come out with the new album, and the music is kind of a soundtrack to that, and some of the lyrics are in the comic book script,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's our journey through hell, which is a metaphor for us as a do-it-yourself band going through our first, year officially, a year in the major touring circuit, and, we escape it. we survive it. We end up at a very enchanted magic castle. So at the end of it. And so at the end of it, though, something happens. If you read it, the very end, something happens to Raven. And you also find out what the key means.
Okay.
What the key is. Yeah, without spoiling it, you find something out about Raven, and you find out what the key means. And Raven, something happens to Raven. And so the next thing is, she has her own musical journey. So we're hoping to release Raven's Diary in 2021, especially without touring.
Yeah.
It was always going to be a bonus album to the next album, our fourth, Raven's Diary, but because of COVID, I think we're going to release it on its own in 2021 if touring doesn't start again, And again, if touring does, we're probably going to end up working on our fourth album, and we'll release them simultaneously. But right now, I'm scheduled to record Raven's Diary in February, March, if it's safe for me to travel.
Okay.
And not, with COVID. So if it's safe enough for me to travel, I'll probably record the new album in February, March, and we'll release it early summer. So we're hoping that we can accomplish that, but you never know. But Raven's Diary is not a metal album. It's a very personal solo album of mine with some rock, some acoustic, a lot of ballads. It's kind of my diary. So a lot of people are interested. In the Silence is kind of the teaser that you're all getting. It's the very last song on the key.
Yes.
And it's a ballad, and it's just me and a piano. So In the Silence is, I wrote that for one of our fans. So you can purchase from me, and this is part of what I've done to make money all year without being out of work. I offer to write an original song for my fans.
Oh, wow.
So, so I have like an entire questionnaire that I've put together to help me kind of get insight to what kind of song they want, So it's a 3-part questionnaire, and I email it to them, and they send it back the best of their ability of answering the questions, and then I write their song based on what they want. And it's love songs. I've done a wedding song. I've done a metal song. I've done a ballad. I've done a rock song. I've done all kinds of different songs. And then I handwrite, when I finish it, I handwrite their original song and I frame it. I write it on this red paper, black ink, and I frame it in an 11 by 17 frame with the mat. So
wow.
It looks really cool,
That's huge.
For them to hang up. Yeah, so I've done those, and they're $100, with the frame and everything. So, but yeah, so I give myself 30 days, and it depends on when they send me back their email,
Yeah.
And I give myself 30 days to sit down and write them an original song. So 2 songs that I wrote last year ended up being on the album.
I was just going to ask you that.
Which is Darkest Pit and In the Silence. Because when I write lyrics, sometimes a melody just hits me, in the moment. And that happened to those 2 songs. So, just happened. I've written way more than those songs, but those two particular songs just happened to have a melody in my head. So I recorded it on my iPhone, and then, of course, we ended up writing and finishing it in the studio. And everybody asked, oh, who did the piano? Who did the piano? It was Ulrich, my producer. So Ulrich actually followed my melody a cappella and kind of wrote the piano part of it with me in the studio.
That's incredible in itself.
So that song in itself is very, very just organic, and that's like the teaser to what Raven's Diary is going to be like. You know, it's definitely not a metal song, but it's a dark song. Lots of dark ballads on Raven's Diary coming soon. You know, I'm a ballad whore. I love ballads. I'm sorry. You know, I just love dark, dreary songs. That's just what I do.
I think a lot.
I love them.
More people in the metal community probably feel that way than they actually admit. Because
Correct.
I
And I'm trying to break that ceiling.
Yeah.
Just, I'm trying to break those walls. I very am open, and I admit things. I just think I did an interview a week ago where I said, my playlist, I even have Air Supply on my playlist. There's some good songs.
Yeah.
Journey, like Eagles. There's some good songs. I listen to Leonard Skinner, and I listen to Styx. There's a lot of stuff I listen to. I love music, and I'm never gonna hide that.
Well, I mean, I grew up on hair metal, and if you listen to hair metal, you love a good ballad.
That too.
So
yeah. Motley Crue, right? I mean, all that stuff. It's like hair metal was fun. I didn't like all of it. I didn't like all the too much of the sexual stuff. Like the fun drink party, have sex, rock and roll. I mean, those were fun to be at the bar and the club with. But as far as listening to on my playlist, no. I'll skip that. But for instance, I have Steel Panthers Balls Out CD. I have that. And I love, my favorite song on that is Weenie Ride. Weenie Ride is a beautiful ballad, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, those guys are great.
Weenie Ride's my favorite track. Weenie Ride's my favorite track because the melody and the music is so good.
Yeah. A lot of their stuff is like that, where I listen to it and I'm like, man, this is really good. And if the lyrics were serious, this could be a real contender.
Exactly. So, I loved Bon Jovi when I grew up on. All that stuff was all around me. Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses, all that stuff. And I never shy away to say that I like that stuff. I love it.
Any chance that on your solo album we'll hear like an arena rock type song?
I don't know. I'm not sure. There is one song I wouldn't say it's arena rock. It's a dark song, but the choruses right now, and that's a song we've written since 2015, and it's called Darkness Falls. And it was not metal enough for Raven Black Carnival albums.
Gotcha.
It just didn't fit. And and this is, by the way, how we came up with the Rejects, their name.
Oh, okay.
So somebody had asked us along the way, so are there songs that you guys have written that you're just like, nope, it's not going to make it to the album? Where are those songs? I said, well, we wrote over 200 songs. We have tons of those songs. And we laughed and we were like, oh, well, we call that something in between the band. And they said, yeah, we call those Raven's Rejects. I rejected it to be on the album because it doesn't fit the storyline and it doesn't fit the theme. I'm very picky about that. Even the song order. I'm very picky about that, particular about it. So the guys never really truly understand my madness, but they let me do what I do and they trust me. And, so we called those songs Raven's Rejects. So somebody said, that's what we should be called, the Rejects. And that's where it took off.
Oh, wow.
So they actually named themselves. And so that's where it started. That's where Raven's Rejects came from. It's songs I love and I just put on the shelf. But they're meant to go on an album one day. When the right storyline fits it,
Gotcha.
when it's fitting. So Darkness Falls is one of my all-time favorite songs, but it just wasn't metal enough for any of our albums and it didn't fit the storyline. But I'm definitely putting it on this album, Raven's Diary.
Okay, that's huge. Very cool.
And that chorus is very more rock than anything. I mean, it's got metal licks in it, but it's definitely more rock. It's hard rock. And I sing. There's no growling. There's no screaming. Nothing. It's just all singing.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be a treat, And one more song that's going to go on the new album, which we've already finished recording and mixed and mastered, was supposed to be on the key. And I said, no, it doesn't fit the key. It doesn't fit. And so we have to wait. That's probably going to make it on Raven's Diary. It's called Never Broken. And it's a song I wrote for a 2-year-old girl that was suffering through brain cancer. And this is way before Raven Black. This was like Raven Black Project. First year, we were invited to this benefit for this 2-year-old little girl who her dad happened to, show her pictures and stuff from a show. That we was like our very first year playing out as a band, forming a band. She was like, I like her because I had pigtails and stuff. And so he was like, well, let me invite this band to be the headliner at this 2-day cancer benefit. And it was an outdoor at a park. A bunch of biker crews came in, and we did silent auction. They did all the stuff to fundraise for her surgery, her brain tumor.
That's so cool.
And, and he's an ex-drug addict, and it's like she's been through a lot. And she was 2, so she introduced us when we played that festival. And she came up on the mic, and I have pictures of all of it. She was 2 years old, little blonde. Her name's Haven. And the whole event was called Haven Palooza. So, of course, we had donated my Gibson guitar at the time. I had a white, small version Junior Gibson guitar. I donated that for their silent auction, and a little kid won it, which was really cool. And a 7-year-old kid got the guitar from raffle tickets. And I was like, good, learn how to play guitar now. That's awesome. And we signed it. We were just a brand new, amateur band at the time. But it was awesome. It was such a great thing to be part of. But I had written 2 nights before the show, I had written a song. I was inspired to write the song about her and her family, her dad, what he's gone through with drug addiction and recovery, and him trying to save his daughter's life. And so I just had this song in my head, and I wrote it. And we sat down rehearsing for this festival, and next thing you know, we wrote the song. So I said, well, let's perform it as a dedication to her and the families there. So we sang it. I sang it, and it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a metal song. It's like a ballady song, beautiful song about never being broken no matter what you go through with cancer, trying to beat cancer or whatever. And so, of course, everybody was crying. People were crying, and Mike's like, can I please have that song? I said, well, one day we'll record it, but right now it's just us. We just know how to play it because we just wrote it 2 nights ago. We just wrote it. And so I promised him one day when we record it, he'll have a copy of it. So once I did record it last year, he's the only one that has an MP3 of it.
Oh, okay.
For Haven. And Haven is, by the way, she survived the brain tumor.
Oh,
they
wow.
got it out, and she's been cancer-free since. And now she's 10.
Wow.
Or 8. I think she's 8 or 9 years old now, but she wants to come see us at a show.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's adorable, and I still have all the pictures, and so this song is dedicated to her. So this song is going to go on this album. This is the right album for it to be on.
And that was the one you said you originally recorded for the Key, but now it's going on to Raven's Diaries?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because this song's already recorded and done.
Gotcha. Okay, that's an amazing story. Wow. So you got all this big stuff going on now, but it sounds like you have even more coming in the new year, so I want everybody to know where they can find you, find the band, find your merchandise, everything. So before I let you go, just plug absolutely everything you got.
The best place is Facebook, and it's Raven Black Band. Our website is www.ravensrejects.com, and our merch store is bit.ly/Raven Black Store. So pretty much very simple. Spotify, keep spinning it, request us on radio for Metal Radio. All the different radio stations. If you're listening to radio still, request us. And Spotify, Apple Music, Google Music, Bandcamp, we're everywhere. And if you Google us, we're the first 3 pages. Raven Black Band.
Awesome. Well, Raven, this was awesome, just like the first time, so thank you so much for coming
Robby.
back. I'd like to have you on again. So it seems like you guys are doing amazing stuff all the time, so maybe when the In This Moment tour kicks and the new albums are being recorded, we can talk again.
Definitely. You take care of yourself out there.
I will do my best. You do the same.
Thank you.
Everybody rock!
All right, rockers, so that was Raven Black, and there's a lot of good information there for you guys to check out. Check out the social media, buy the book, listen to The Key. It's an amazing album, deep lyrics, and I really want you guys to support this band. They're doing big things, and it sounds like they're not stopping anytime soon. So, thank you for joining me on this week's episode of the All Bets Are Off podcast. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next week.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.